All right, let's dive in. We're going to talk about what might just be one of the most important new skills out there: how to actually talk to artificial intelligence. It's this whole art and science, and it's called prompt engineering.
You know, the feeling, right? We've all been there. You ask what you think is a super simple question to one of these powerful AIs, and the answer it gives you is just completely bizarre. You're left staring at the screen thinking, what just happened?
I mean, look at this classic example. The AI gets the answer right: a kilogram of steel is heavier, but for totally the wrong reason. It completely missed the point of the riddle. And this isn't a bug in the AI's knowledge, it's a breakdown in how it understood the question. And that is something we can fix.
So how do we fix it? Well, that's where prompt engineering comes in. And here's the cool part. It's not about being a coder or hacking the system. It's really just about learning to speak its language, about becoming a much better communicator.
Okay, so here's the textbook definition. We're designing task-specific instructions. The key phrase here is without changing its core programming. Think about that. We're not doing surgery on the AI's brain. We're just giving it a clearer roadmap so it can use all that incredible power it already has, but way more effectively.
So what does that actually look like? Let's start at level 1, with the absolute fundamentals. This is where the magic really starts to happen, and it's simpler than you think.
Okay, so on the left, you have zero-shot prompting. This is what most of us do, right? You just fire off a command and hope for the best. But now, look at the right, few-shot prompting. Notice the difference? We're giving it a little cheat sheet first. We're showing it the pattern. Cat is chat, dog is Xian. By doing that, we're setting it up for success when we ask it to translate our actual word. And this right here is probably the first huge rule of prompt engineering. The big takeaway is this: before you ask the AI to do something complex, just give it a couple of really good examples to show it what you want. It can make a world of difference. Seriously.
But okay, that's great for simple stuff. What about problems that require actual logic, real reasoning? Well, that brings us to level 2. And this is where we see a massive breakthrough in how we can work with these things. This was the big puzzle, you know? It's one thing to get an AI to translate a word it's seen before, but how do you get it to solve a tricky, multi-step problem that's completely new to it? How do you get it to think instead of just matching patterns? The answer is an amazing technique called chain of thought prompting. And the idea is just so smart. Instead of just asking for the final answer, you tell the AI to show its work. You prompt it to literally think out loud, breaking the problem down step by step until it reaches a solution. You know, just like we do. So if you just throw a complex word problem at an AI, it's probably just going to guess the answer, and usually it's going to guess wrong. But what if there was a simple little phrase you could use to just flip on its reasoning mode? This is it. You're looking at it. Researchers discovered that just by adding this incredibly simple phrase to the end of a prompt, it was like a trigger. It told the AI, okay, don't just answer, reason. And with that one tiny addition, everything changes. The AI stops being a black box. It starts to explain itself, to show its logic, and to follow a clear path to the correct answer. It's the difference between a random guess and an actual deduction. And the results are just staggering. Look at this. When researchers tested this on a really tough logic puzzle, a normal prompt only succeeded 4% of the time. Just 4. But with these new reasoning prompts, that number jumped to 74%. That's not just a small improvement. That is a fundamental game changer. So that step-by-step breakthrough just opened the floodgates. And for level 3, we're seeing how that one simple idea has completely exploded into a whole universe of advanced techniques, all designed to make AI thinking even more powerful. So, the technique that got those amazing results we just saw, it's called tree of thoughts. Think of it as chain of thought on steroids. Instead of following just one logical path, the AI explores multiple paths all at once. It's like checking every single branch in a maze simultaneously to find the absolute best one. Then you've got wild stuff like self-refine. Here, you get the AI to give you an answer, and then you tell it to critique its own work. It literally finds its own mistakes and then fixes them over and over. It's like you're teaching the AI to be its own very tough editor. But what about when the AI's knowledge is out of date? A technique called RAG, that's Retrieval Augmented Generation, solves this. The open book test analogy is perfect. It lets the AI look up fresh, up-to-the-minute information from an external source before it answers, so no more stale facts. And really, we are just scratching the surface here. The research paper this explainer is based on identified over 41 of these distinct techniques. This field is moving at an unbelievable pace, with new ways to make AI think better popping up all the time. So, okay, after all that, let's bring it back. Why does any of this actually matter to you? Well, because learning to talk to an AI effectively isn't just some neat little trick anymore. It's becoming a legitimate superpower. So let's just recap the big takeaways. First, prompting isn't some secret language for coders. It's a skill, and it's one you can learn. Second, we're really at the point where we're teaching AI how to reason, not just how to spit back answers. And finally, in a field that's moving this fast, the single most important thing is simply effective communication. That is the key that unlocks everything else. Which kind of leaves us with one big final thought to chew on. As these AIs get more and more powerful, to the point where they have nearly infinite knowledge, maybe the most valuable human skill won't be about having the answers anymore. Maybe it'll be about knowing how to ask the perfect question.